Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent. The clinic is currently closed. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday.
Could you tell me something about the anti-wrinkle injections?
Anti wrinkle injections, often referred to as Botox, involve injecting a purified protein.
Hi, I think I have a headache. Is there anything that you could do?
I cannot provide medical advice for any clinical concerns. I must connect you to a practitioner.
Hi, I would like to book an appointment.
Of course, may I please have your preferred date and time for the appointment?
Tomorrow, 1 p.m.
Great. That slot is available. May I please have your name and contact number to book your appointment for tomorrow at 1 p.m.?
It's Daniel Jones.
Your appointment for tomorrow at 1 p.m. has been confirmed, Daniel.
Hi, I would like to reschedule my appointment.
Of course, I can help you reschedule your appointment. May I have your name, please? Additionally, could you provide the new preferred date and time for your appointment?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Your appointment has been successfully rescheduled to tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Actually, I would like to cancel my appointment.
Just to confirm, would you like me to cancel your rescheduled appointment for tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Yes.
Your appointment has been canceled.
How much money are you losing from missed calls? Every time your phone rings unanswered, a potential customer is calling your competitor. But what if you could capture every single lead, book them into your calendar, and send them an instant confirmation, even if they call you at 2 a.m. on Sunday?
The first thing that we need to do is go to the Vapi.ai and sign up for a new account. Once logged in, you're going to land on this overview dashboard. And on the left-hand side, there is a navigation bar. Click on the assistant, create an assistant, and I'm going to just give it a name. So on this overview screen, you can see the approximate cost per minute and daylight latency. And the model that you select here will have direct impact on either of those. However, the total cost consists of Vapi hosting, transcriber, the model that you select, as well as the voice. For the actual AI model, we have several providers to choose from. I'm just going to stick with OpenAI for now. And for the actual language model, the GPT-4o cluster isn't a bad starting point because it's got reasonable low latency and cost. However, for this particular example, I'm just going to go with GPT-4o because as my system prompt is going to grow in size, during the testing, I have noticed that GPT-4o cluster wasn't able to follow it properly. For the first message mode, we can configure what's going to happen when the user picks up the phone, and we have three different choices. Either assistant can speak first, we can wait for the user to start speaking, or we can generate a message with a model. So that means the message would be different every time the user picks up a call. For now, I'm just going to paste this and have the same message for every single call. Let's give it a quick test.
Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent.
We can also change the assistant voice if we want to. We go to the voices. Again, we have several providers to choose from. I'm just going to select a female voice, hit publish, go back to the model, and test it again.
Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent.
Okay, so that is much better. I'm just going to change the first message because it's going to be significantly longer. I just didn't want to waste the time. Next, let's move to the system prompt. Let's quickly break down this Vapi system prompt. First, its role and persona. This is who it is, sets the AI character. Is it friendly? Is it formal? This controls the tone, making the voice feel natural, not robotic. Next, the critical safety rule. For a clinic, this is essential. It's the boundary. We're telling the AI, you are not a medical professional and cannot give medical advice. This is non-negotiable safety rail. Then it's human handoff. This is the user eject button. If they say speak to a human, the AI only job is to transfer the call immediately. No questions. This is critical part of a good user experience. Finally, the core capabilities. This is the AI job description, what it can do. For this, it can schedule appointments, give the info about clinic, and describe its services. This section links those tasks directly to its N8N Workflow using function calling. For the role and persona of our assistant, we do briefly mention the location of the clinic as well as the name. We give our agent a name, and then we just briefly talk about its personality and the behavior, followed by its primary goal, which is to provide information and manage appointment for patients. So next is the critical safety rule. And here we're just specifying for the AI that it's not a medical professional, so it shouldn't provide any medical advice, diagnosis, or opinions based on symptoms. And if a user describes something like a medical issue or asks for an advice, it should decline to answer and suggest that maybe a transfer call is required for an actual person. I've also have a section on human handoff and escalation, and this is just to guide a little bit when a transfer call should be. And this is if the person on their phone wants to speak to a human receptionist, manager, or practitioner, and also when they mention an urgent clinical concern. So before we go any further, let's give a quick test.
Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent. For existing patients calling with an urgent question about a recent treatment, say, speak to a practitioner, and I will connect you to our on call team immediately. To book new or manage existing consultation, I can assist you right now. How may I help you today?
Hi, I think I have a headache. Is there anything that you could do?
I cannot provide medical advice for any clinical concerns. I must connect you to a practitioner. Would you like me to connect you to a member of our team now?
No.
Thank you for letting me know. If you have any non clinical questions or wish to book or manage an appointment here at Croft Medical Clinic, I am happy to assist. Please let me know how I can help you today.
I think I'm in pain after the last treatment.
Of course, please hold one moment while I connect you to a member of our team.
So as we can see, the assistant is following the system prompt pretty well. And I think we're ready to add the final prompt, which will specify all the capabilities that it can do. So this capability lists 4 different tasks, one for scheduling appointments, second one for managing existing appointments, third one for providing clinic information using their internal knowledge, which is specified here. And then the last one describes services using the knowledge base, which is file that we can assign right here. So if we look closely at one of the capabilities, the schedule appointment, we have defined a mandatory workflow where the assistant has to listen for the preferred date and time, and that it has to call this tool using those parameters. And then we specify the logic if the tool returns confirmed, which means that the available slot in the calendar is available. We then ask for the patient name and contact number, and then we call the schedule an appointment to put an entry in the calendar. However, if the tool doesn't return confirmed, the AI will mention that the slot is not available, and we will try to start this process again to try and get a new date and time. So let me quickly show you the tools. The first tool checks the calendar for the available slot, takes the parameters, the preferred date and time. You can make these parameters to be required. You can specify the desired format, and then you pass the saver URL and specify the timeout. So once you have the slot available, you can then schedule an appointment by calling this tool. And this one takes 4 parameters: patient name, preferred date and time, and the patient contact number. And it uses the same server URL with a different webhook. So both of these requests have been sent to our N8N instance. So we receive the request using this webhook, check calendar slots. In this step, we're setting all the required fields from that request, which is the ID, date, and time. The ID is something that Vapi generates, and we need to respond with this ID back so the Vapi can actually acknowledge our request. Next, for the check calendar API, we need to pass the start and date time, which we create from the body parameters that we have just extracted. And because we're looking for a 1 hour time slot, to the end date, we're adding 1 hour. Next, we prepare the response, and we're going to either respond with available, true or false, as well as the message, if the slot is available. This is then sent back as a response back to the Vapi. So for the schedule appointment, it's quite similar. All we do is extract relevant information from this big request. So it's everything that we need to schedule the appointment: name, date, time, and number. We then send the start and end date for the calendar event, and on success, we'll get the ID back, which is the calendar event. And then if the calendar event has been created and there is no error, we will continue. Otherwise, we're going to log. And if this was the actual production workflow, this would probably be sent to a third-party application. So if this has been successful, we're going to store the record in the database. So I have created this Airtable called Clinic Database that stores the entries of all the appointments. So it has the full name, date, event ID, which is the calendar ID, and the phone number. So then once this has been successfully stored, we're going to prepare the response. And all we're responding here is the result confirmed and the Vapi ID, which is required to acknowledge the request. So let's see how it all comes together.
Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent. For existing patients calling with an urgent question about a recent treatment, say, speak to a practitioner, and I will connect you to our on-call team immediately. To book new or manage existing consultation, I can assist you right now. How may I help you today?
Hi, I would like to book an appointment.
Of course, may I please have your preferred date and time for the appointment?
Tomorrow, 1 p.m.
Great. That slot is available. May I please have your name and contact number to book your appointment for tomorrow at 1 p.m.?
It's Daniel Jones.
Thank you, Daniel. May I please have your contact number to complete the booking?
It's 07473 886 111.
Thank you for providing your details, Daniel. It seems there was a temporary issue with our booking system. To ensure your appointment is reserved, would you like me to connect you directly with a member of our team to confirm your booking right away?
No, could you try and schedule it again?
Your appointment for tomorrow at 1 p.m. has been confirmed, Daniel. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
So yeah, it looks like this has been successful. So the initial schedule has timed out. I will have to double check what has happened here. But then after retrying, we managed to successfully schedule an appointment. And if we look at our clinic database, we have an extra entry with the name, date, calendar ID, and phone number. And then if you take a look at the Google Calendar, the consultation has been scheduled for 1 p.m. So if we quickly take a look at the N8N execution tab, the initial check calendar slot request was pretty fast. It only took 200 milliseconds. Then we have made a request to the schedule appointment, and this has succeeded. However, it was over the timeout I have set inside Vapi, which is 5 seconds. And by the way, this is quite unusual because this doesn't normally take that long. Because then when we have retried to create this request, it ran successfully in just over a second. Let's go back to the Vapi system prompt. And for the managing existing appointments, the prompt is a lot more simplified because all we do is specify the tool name if you want to reschedule or cancel. And when asking for either of those, they need to provide the name so that we can find an appropriate entry in the database. And then so we can get the calendar event ID to remove and add a new entry, or just remove the entry from the calendar if they want to cancel their appointment. And then for rescheduling, we need to ask for the new preferred date and time, confirm the details before submitting those information to the reschedule appointment. And for cancelling, we're just going to double check that they're absolutely sure that they want to cancel their appointment. So now if you go to the N8N, this is the delete appointment. So all we're doing here is setting the consultation details, which it's just the name. Then we retrieve the details from the clinic database. And if the consultation exists, only then we're going to delete the calendar. Otherwise, we're going to log that there is something wrong with those consultation details. And then we're going to prepare and send the response back to the Vapi. And I've actually noticed that we're still missing one more step here to actually delete the record from the database after it has been deleted from the calendar. And finally, the reschedule appointment is the most complicated of them all. First, we set the new consultation details. We try to retrieve the existing record. If that record exists, we're going to delete the current consultation. If the delete has been successful, we're going to then create a new consultation using those details here. If the consultation has been recreated, only then we will update the consultation details, which we will then prepare the response and send it back to Vapi. So I'm going to test both of these workflows by trying to reschedule this appointment here, and then I'm going to try and delete it at the end.
Thank you for calling Croft Medical Clinic. You're speaking with Donna AI agent. For existing patients calling with an urgent question about a recent treatment, say, speak to a practitioner, and I will connect you to our on-call team immediately. To book new or manage existing consultation, I can assist you right now. How may I help you today?
Hi, I would like to reschedule my appointment.
Of course, I can help you reschedule your appointment. May I have your name, please? Additionally, could you provide the new preferred date and time for your appointment?
My name is Daniel Jones.
Thank you, Daniel. Could you please let me know your new preferred date and time for the appointment?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Your appointment has been successfully rescheduled to tomorrow at 2 p.m. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
Actually, I would like to cancel my appointment.
Just to confirm, would you like me to cancel your rescheduled appointment for tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Yes.
Your appointment has been canceled. If you need to book another appointment or require any further assistance, please let me know.
So then if we check inside the N8N at the reschedule appointment, so one of the key elements in this workflow is getting the existing consultation details. So we're passing the name, date, and time, but in reality, we're only using the full name to find the record. And then if the consultation is found and has no errors, we're proceeding to deleting the existing consultation using the event ID. And then if this is successfully deleted, we then proceed to create a new consultation by passing the date and time. On a successful creation, we'll get the ID back. And then only if this is created, which means that the ID of the calendar event exists and the JSON has no errors, we proceed to update the consultation details, and we're matching on the ID column. And then we're passing the information that we want to update, which in this case is the date and the calendar event ID. Once this is done, we prepare the response, and then we send the response back to Vapi. Similarly, for the delete appointment, we'll get the existing consultation details by the username. If the consultation exists, we go to the calendar and delete it using the calendar event ID. And then we prepare response and respond back to Vapi. And now I do actually remember why we don't delete the consultation details after the calendar event has been deleted. So if we look at this table, the database clinic has a table with all the appointments. And if we click at the interface, we have generated a little dashboard that shows you the number of bookings that have been made using the AI assistant. And if this was a production ready system, you could publish this URL and send it to a client so it can measure the effectiveness of the solution. And you could create multiple tables and data points to provide different type of information based on the requirements. So if we go back to our system prompt, we have now concluded the appointments. And if we look at number 3, we can provide clinic information using the information supplied here. And these are pretty basic information, just the location with full address, opening hours, and the time awareness. So if a user wants to know if the clinic is currently open, the assistant will be able to respond.
I know this prompt looks pretty long, but honestly, for the real production system, it would probably be even bigger. That's because comprehensive testing always uncovers new edge cases, and you have to add more instructions to make sure that the assistant behavior is reliable.
We can also describe all the services that this clinic provides using the external files that we can upload here. So inside mine services.json file, we have a JSON array with all the services that this place is providing. And here we can query different services using this key inside our prompt, as well as we can tell Assistant inside the prompt to guide the user onto the next steps based on the service that they have selected. So if we go back to our describe services prompt, we can try and match the relevant service using the service underscore name. We can summarize its description, and we can also guide the user onto the next steps. And because this is parameterized, the next step can be very distinct depending on the service name that you have chosen. And you can also add and take away elements from this JSON file without modifying this prompt, because this prompt is more or less parameterized. So let's give it a quick test. Is the clinic open right now?
The clinic is currently closed. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Today is Saturday, and it is currently 8:44 p.m., which is outside our operating hours. The clinic will reopen tomorrow at 10 a.m. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Could you tell me something about the anti-wrinkle injections?
Anti-wrinkle injections, often referred to as Botox, involve injecting a purified protein to temporarily relax targeted facial muscles. This softens dynamic lines and wrinkles, helping you achieve a smoother and more refreshed appearance. Common areas treated include forehead lines, frown lines between the brows, and crow's feet around the eyes. The treatment usually takes around 30 minutes. There is minimal downtime, though you may have minor bruising or swelling for up to 24 hours and should avoid strenuous exercise for that same period. Prices start from $199 per area with a precise quote given at your consultation. The next step is to book an initial consultation where a practitioner will assess your suitability and provide personalized advice. Would you like to schedule a consultation?
One great thing about Vapi is that it's not picky about format. You can upload PDF, text messages, Word documents, it can handle a lot of different information types to pull its answers from. But there is a key thing you need to be aware of. The more you give it, the longer it might take. A huge knowledge base will naturally require more time for the AI to process and find the right answer. So for the production, you need to balance of how much information you provide with the response speed you need. And speaking of things that needs to be fast and reliable, that brings us to the next critical piece, workflow error handling. So you're probably looking at this workflow and seeing all these if nodes and wondering, why is it so complex? Why not just to run a step one after another? This is all about robust error handling and making sure our workflow is predictable. Think of it as a chain of events where any link can fail. We can't just assume everything works. First, we have an if that check. Did we even find the consultation in the Airtable? If not, we should stop. There is no point trying to delete calendar event that doesn't exist. Then after we try to delete the old calendar event, we have another if. Did we actually manage to delete it? What if the event was already gone? Or the Google API had a temporary glitch? We have to check the output. And it's the exact same thing for creating the new event. We run the create step and then if node immediately asks, did we get the new ID back? Each if node is a checkpoint. It validates the output of the previous step before letting us move to the next. This prevents the workflow from running with bad data and more importantly, let us know the exact steps where things went wrong. This brings us to how. You will notice all those Google Calendar and Airtable nodes are set to continue on error. This is key. It means the workflow doesn't just crash if one step fails. Instead, that failing node just passes an error object downstream. Then at the very end, we have this prepare response node. This one node looks back at the output of all the previous steps, the get step, the delete step, the create step, and the update step. It's gathering errors from each section. It checks them in order, and if it finds any error, it stops and builds a single clean error message. This way, Vapi gets one simple useful response back. It's going to be either success or a specific error message it can send to the user. We are consolidating all these potential failures into one unified output. Now, what we've built here is great for expected errors. We expect an event might not be found or API might fail. But for the real production-ready workflow, you ideally want to have a global error handling workflow as well. This is a separate workflow that is set at N8N server level, designed to catch all the unexpected exceptions. What if an expression has a typo and the whole workflow crashes? Or maybe the database is down? Our current logic can catch all that. A global error handler acts as a final safety net. It catches all these meta errors, logs them, and we can automatically send them to the development team